let's kind of talk about the process and the order of doing things, right? Like when we get a client that reaches out, what's the first order of business?
Yeah, we were just talking about this, right? What's the smart first step? Should they
Mhm,
talk to their agent first? Should they talk to their lender first?
mhm.
And I think it's always like different in each situation, but it's also always like misconstrued because I think some agents are really strong, like you
Yeah,
have to talk to the lender or you won't know what your options are,
very true.
right?
Yeah.
And I agree, but like I was telling you earlier, I also think it's hard to get somebody really motivated when immediately they have to go into like really hard, invasive maybe or personal conversations about their finances.
Yeah.
So personally, I think maybe they start with you
Hmm.
and maybe you find out and peel back really what their inherent motivation is to buy a house in the first place.
And that's a big one, like finding that motivational factor of why you want to do this now. And it's asking, a deeper side of questions of like, hey, what's your current credit score? Do you know your score?
For sure.
Are you currently working? Any money saved up? Are you getting gift funds? So we could figure that out, right? But it's doing that and pairing them with the right person like yourself, because I know you're gonna take them all the way through and get them ready.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, I would love somebody that you've had some level of understanding financially that they're prepared to buy rather
Yeah.
than like, hey man, I bumped grocery carts with this guy. Here's his number. Call him
Yeah.
and ask him, right? Like, so yeah, if I have like for me, any referral that I get from an agent, the more information, the better,
Mhm.
right? But I am gonna have to go into like if you say, hey, here's this person, tell me if they're qualified, like there's no way I can do that without digging deep, right? I got to ask about their credit, about their finances,
Yeah.
about their job, their history, their debt.
Do you get people that's like hesitant on telling you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of like
absolutely.
scared.
And usually those are the ones that either one, just don't have the right perception about why we're asking,
Mhm.
or like how hard it really is,
Yeah.
or it's somebody that hasn't really identified the right motivation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like all they know is I heard I should maybe buy a house or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But they haven't identified like, hey, no, it's important because, we want to be in this school district for our kids or our family's growing or, I've had my landlord give me notice two different times in my
For
life and I
sure.
want to have some certainty. There's all, or maybe they're looking for a income tax advantage
Yeah.
at this point in their life. They've just elevated their income and financial situation. So there's always, that motivation is just kind of identifying it, figuring it out. So when things start to feel a little bit hard or overwhelming, we can always pull back to that,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and always remind them of why they reached out in the first place or
Absolutely. I feel like, bro, that's the hardest part is getting them to obviously connect with you, but filling out that paperwork. We just want to see where you are and how we can help assist to get you onto your goals. So okay, let's say they're pre-approved. Then what's the next step?
yeah, once they're pre-approved, I mean, the biggest thing there's pre-approved and
Mhm.
understanding like yes, you qualify, but then
Yeah.
there's also like understanding where you're comfortable.
Because during that moment, you're seeing all your numbers too, right?
Yep,
How much house you can afford, monthly payment, down payment, closing
exactly,
costs.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's me telling you like you can afford an 800,000 house, but then
Hmm.
you're looking at it going like I can't afford an 800,000 house,
Yeah.
right? So you need to like understand that level of like okay, I'm comfortable with this much out of my pocket and this much per month.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then, right? So then once we establish that, then it's back to the agent to kind of identify like, okay, within these parameters, let's set a real path and plan towards,
Yeah.
towards getting you out in the game.
Yeah. So it's like similar to our client we had last week. She's pre-approved and I invited her to come to the office just so we can map out next steps. So we talk about the housing search, and I like to educate them on the current market, where we are in these times, what prices are doing.
Don't you think most people have the wrong perception about the market?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's like a narrative out there. There's always some type of headline,
Sure.
right? But that's where we come in to kind of calm that.
Why do you think that is? Like, why does the media almost, in my opinion, like roots for a housing crash?
That's a good question,
Right?
man.
Like it's always
Yeah.
like if there's something bad in housing, it's always like lead story, home prices down. I never hear like, hey, good news in the housing market.
That's true. Now that you think
So-
about it, I know
But if
Ryan
you
Luck
think,
was.
like the most people own homes.
Yeah.
So why don't we really want everyone to fail? Like,
Right.
the housing market crashing would be catastrophic
Yeah.
for the nation in whole. I don't know. I just think the media does not do us any favors.
For sure.
So we have to understand that, right? The media. So I've heard somebody really smart say once, he goes, the media is not a public service, right?
Yeah.
The media is a business. Like they're trying to sell clicks or sell headlines or do whatever it is. And it must be that the good news doesn't sell, but the bad news does. People will look for that fear, and that's what they attach to.
Yeah.
So long way of just reverting back to like, people don't really understand that it is a good time to buy in this market.
Absolutely. And that's where we come in, the pros, because we do this day in, day out. We're studying the market, and we're obviously going to advocate for home ownership, pushing people to own instead of renting. But right now it's a great time, I think. In my short 8 years, I know you've been in for a while, it's the most opportunity that I've seen for buyers in a long time.
Absolutely. I think that's really where, we did the last home buyers class.
Yeah.
And I asked, is it a good market or bad market to buy? And everyone was like, it's a bad market.
Yeah.
And I said, why?
Yeah.
And they're because interest rates are high. Sure. And that's accurate. And I get it. Like affordability is always going to be a buyer's biggest hurdle and challenge, right? There's only so much we can do about affordability. But the reality is you want to buy when there's less buyers and more homes to buy.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that window of opportunity in a long time. Like, it's here.
Yeah. Yeah. So like for me, it's like I'm licking my chops because I'm showing buyers properties and there's so much inventory. Like you can pick your flavor now. It's not just you only have 2 houses with 30 offers each, 50,000 over list price or whatever that is, but you actually have options. So we can slow down, make an informed decision. And if you really like it, you have a good chance of getting a house.
And that's the best market to buy in. Not the opposite, like you said, where, hey, there's a line around the block already.
Yeah.
So you're going to go into this house. You have 15 minutes to decide what's the most you're willing to pay for it.
Crazy.
You're not allowed to get inspections, right? Like, I mean, think about that. Like, you should not be buying a house in that environment. Tons of us did.
Yeah.
But like, that's not the best market. This is a much better environment. To your point, feel safe, have some options, have a little variety, be able to look, be able to process after you look, make an informed decision, think about it. Like, to me, that's the market you should be comfortable or looking to buy in.
For sure. So let's say, a buyer's pre-approved. They meet with me. I educate them on the market and we're looking at homes. We find the right home, we write the offer, we get accepted. What's going on behind the scenes on your side? Because we're not done.
Yeah.
We still have some ways to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really where the lender steps up, right?
Yeah.
Now it's my show. So,
oops, my bad. Okay.
So yeah, like that's really where we take over. That's really where it's our time to kind of shine and really take it from here, make you look good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In the end. And so main things that are happening right at initially when that offer gets accepted is you're going over the disclosures. So kind of reconfirming some of the numbers. Typically those won't change a lot from what their expectations are. So they're not really, it's not like, oh, hey, now you have to decide if you want it. We've kind of already had that internal decision.
What shouldn't a buyer do when they're in the contract?
Should they not do?
Should they not do? Yes.
Well, freak out. That's number one. They should relax, right?
Yeah.
And trust the process.
Absolutely.
They should not change anything in
Mhm.
regards to their finances.
Yeah.
So that's not when it's time to look for a new job. That's not when it's time to grab some more debt.
Yeah.
That's not when it's time to spend the money that they have
You ever
put away
experienced
and
that
saved.
with the buyer?
Very rarely.
Okay.
I mean, I've had some where I think people like misimplied some of their financial,
Yeah.
capabilities. But I mean, I hear those stories about, this guy went out and bought a car.
Bought a car.
I've never no, I've never had it. And I've done a lot of transactions over the years.
knock on wood somewhere, but
Yeah.
I haven't either. I
Yeah.
haven't either, man.
It's
I heard the
never
stories.
I mean, I like to think it's because we have those conversations and we put out a lot of information that says don't do this.
Yeah.
But um yeah, I think for the most part, when somebody's going through that, they are pretty focused on it.
For sure.
Like sometimes too focused,
Mhm.
right? Like I'm like, you don't have to quit your job because we're buying, like, they're like, okay, when's the signing? Like, do I need to take a week off? And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, just live your life.
It's more streamlined than what they think.
It
right?
really is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's easier. So the one we were just talking about,
Mhm.
that family, you first introduced her to me probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they finally completed their application and submitted their documents. And all she kept really saying the whole time was like, well, that's it. Well,
Yeah.
you're making it so easy.
Yeah.
I think in her head, she had built up that it was going to be this really hard, elaborate process to get a loan.
Yeah.
And in reality,
Yeah.
that's not
I
the
was
case.
trying to connect them with you for months, and when they finally got to you, you turned them around in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And we hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We were looking at homes and finally got them in
And I think they went in contract maybe the first time you were out with them,
super
right?
quick. Yeah.
So I think that's probably one of those where it took them so many months to get into their head
Yeah.
that they were ready. But once they were ready, they were in.
They're ready.
You
They're ready
know,
to
like
go.
once they connected with me
Yeah.
and they did their application, they got approved right away. They went out with you right away. They got in contract right away. So I think it's just they're probably in their own way.
Yeah.
Right. And once they actually got out of their own way, it was easy.
That's usually
from
it.
there.
We're usually in our own ways, right off the top of it. So
It's misinformation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably heard from somebody at some point that getting a loan's really hard.
yeah,
So they had built it up in their own mind that
Mhm.
this is going to be a hard process.
And I always tell people that, man. I'm like, you don't really want to take advice from someone who bought 20 years ago because the game has changed.
So
Reach out to people who are actually doing this at a high level, like yourself, like me. Our teams are great. We're going to hand walk you through this and we're going to figure it out. But it's all streamlined.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. And I mean, not only that, like that are connected in the area, right?
That's
And
a
know
big
the right people and know what areas are good investments and not. And in my case, like they know which appraisers, which inspectors to
Yeah.
send out that are going to do things. Like I'll give you an example. I have one right now, and it's got to be her first ever deal, and it's out of town.
Yeah.
And the experience working with the agent has been hard.
With the buyer's agent or listing?
Yeah, the buyer's
Okay.
agent. Like I think she's brand new, and it
Okay.
happens to be like a down payment assistance loan. And I mean, she's like, I think impatient with herself.
Yeah.
And I keep saying like, hey, it's okay. You haven't done this before. You don't know. So she's hard on herself, and then she gets frustrated with me really easy. And
So a lot of your experience is kind of pouring into this agent too, because
I'm doing her job
on the job
and
training.
my job.
Yeah,
right.
it's on the job training right now.
And it is hard, like
Yeah.
because I'm like, she's asking me a question like, what's the maximum seller credit? And I'm like, I can answer that 2 different ways, right? The maximum seller credit that the loan allows, but that's not the maximum credit that supplements all of our closing costs.
Mhm.
And I'm like trying to explain to her, and she's like, why can't you just give me a simple answer? And I'm like, because there isn't one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I have to give you all of the context of how to answer this. So again, and that's no knock on new agents.
For sure.
New agents are great. Like, we need new agents.
It's a learning curve.
But like, she should really have an agent mentor.
Absolutely.
And she should have somebody that she can lean on and not have to rely on the lender to answer a lot of the real estate side of questions. She's asking me a lot of questions about how to write the addendum and things like that. And I'm like,
you got your realtor hat on,
respectfully, right? I try my best to stay in my lane and offer support where I can. But I just think it's a lot of times people just assume, oh, that it doesn't matter who the agent is, right? And that's a really, really bad misconception.
For sure. For sure. That's a huge one. I think if you're working with someone who's experienced, your experience is going to be easier, right? Especially like you said with relationships. We know a lot of people in our area and our market space. So we've written offers on where you may know the listing agent.
For sure.
You could place a call for me. And that's going to give us an edge over the competition. So it's just the experience, our reputation, all that stuff.
So when you're a listing agent,
yes,
and you got multiple offers, I mean, aren't you essentially looking for who's the right lender, who's the right agent?
One thing I look for is which one of these lenders is going to call me tomorrow.
Yeah.
And fight for this client.
Yeah. Call first before you have to call them.
Before I have to call them. Who's gonna call and advocate for their buyer? I look
because that's a good sign.
Absolutely,
that they're going to be a good communicator.
I shouldn't have to chase the lender
throughout the transaction.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So going through that process, making sure the buyer is super qualified, that's important. And if it's an agent that I worked with in the past, or they have a reputation that's just strong, it's like, hey, I want to work with this agent. I'm gonna tell my seller about them. That they're gonna get the job done.
Yeah. It's more than just what the bottom line is.
For sure,
right?
Because that could all be foo-foo.
Yes. So what happens if you're like, oh, okay, this there's multiple offers.
Mm-hmm.
The highest is name some online random lender that is not local, and it may be hard to communicate with.
Yes.
In second place is a local guy. You're like, yep, done deals with them. They always close on time. They're great communicators. They called me and advocated.
Yeah.
So are you going to your seller and being like, hey, how do we put a value on that?
Definitely. I'm saying, hey, I know these guys are 9 to 5.
Yeah.
After 5, they're done. But this guy, he's local. We can go to their office if we have to, and I can call him at 8:00 at night. He's going to answer.
Yeah.
So all of that gives the edge to that prospective buyer, and with them being local is that much more important.
Yeah. So that's what you have to then emphasize back to your buyer.
For sure.
Right? About, when I'm a listing agent, when I'm discussing it with a seller, this is what I'm advising them. So a good listing agent is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So as a buyer, you want to put yourself in the position that you're getting considered, even if you're not the highest price.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where if I get a buyer and they come to me with one of these online guys, I'm like, hey, at least talk to my guy.
Yeah.
At least, please. Yeah. Because
what do you have to lose? I'm curious why people get stuck in that way.
You should want to compare apples to apples.
You have nothing to lose.
You have nothing
no obligation. Why would you not? Give yourself a chance to maybe save.
And I can almost guarantee you 98, 99% that my guy is going to give you a better overall experience. He's going to be available for you. Like I said, brick and mortar, the office is there. We can go together and get things done versus these other guys that's online. They may not answer.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I fully agree. Like, I'm always curious, right? Yeah. Why that person is like, nope, I'm good, and closes that door.
It's almost the same like when like the Zillow leads and the Zillow agents, like a buyer. I've had clients who they'll look on Zillow and they'll click on the link and it's like there will be an agent that meets you there in 15 minutes. Well, you don't know the agent,
Yeah.
so it's almost the same
Yeah.
thing.
And they show up and you sign an agreement with them.
Yeah.
15 minutes. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah, for
that
sure.
was quick. Yeah. That part I'm always curious about, but like to the point you were saying, like, can I get information? A
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
I will ask. I have no problem making a call, asking, advocating. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna push for my buyer.
And just, not to be super biased about it, but our last deal, the listing agent said we got the deal because you were so on top of it.
Yeah.
He's like, Nick was great. He called me. We had a great conversation. He said I was on top of things, so it just went hand in hand to get our offer accepted.
Yep. And yeah, those are the things that I don't know, you can't always see,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're a buyer, but that are happening
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Yeah. You start telling people about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Success stories.
Yeah.